TV. Welcome to this special edition of Daytime Ottawa. We are live on location at the Canadian Museum of History to help kick off the 46th edition of Winterlude. How excited am I? Well, you can see it in my face. You can just feel the energy coming from me. And I know my first guest is so excited to talk to me because each and every year, behind the scenes, her and her team work feverishly to make sure everything is perfect and ready to go for Winterlude, no matter what the weather looks like. I'm joined by Melanie Bro. She is the Director of Capital Celebrations and Program Operations at Winterlude and also official spokesperson for Winterlude. Welcome. Great to have you here.
I am so excited to be here today, Derek, to talk to you and all of your listeners about Winterlude.
46 years now.
Is that not incredible?
It's amazing. Absolutely. Right. And you know what I love about the idea of doing this is the fact, we were just talking, you had a friend, on the way to Jamaica, right? People want to get away from the city. Don't get away from the city. No. Embrace the winter, celebrate it. We've been doing it so well for so many years. I mentioned, your team and the planning. Tell me a little bit, what goes into planning this?
Well, I'm going to say we start planning the day after last year's event.
I figured.
And we always take stock on what went really, really well and what it is that we need to do to improve it and always make it better. And, Winterlude becoming or remaining a viable event in the National Capital Region is at the heart of all of my team, and we want to make sure that Winterlude is here and stays for years to come.
And that's, that has a lot to do too with the partnerships that you've made, right? The sponsors, of course, are so important, but those partnerships, like being here, for instance, right?
Exactly. And I'm going to say about 6-7 years ago, we as a team really took a step back and said, there's a lot of things that are going to be impacting us in the near future,
right?
Of which, of course, environment and climate change is a big topic. And so we thought, how do we make sure that Winterlude is really here to stay? And so we made some significant changes, some really great changes.
Agreed.
And one of them that you just mentioned is bringing in more and more partners. This year, in the 2024 edition, we have over 30 partners that are part of the Winterlude event, which means that despite what Mother Nature throws at us, we have indoor activities and outdoor activities for everybody to come out and enjoy.
And you have thematics, right?
We do.
We've got, these wonderful weekends that are coming up. Let's talk about the themes. Let's start weekend number one. What's the theme and what can people expect?
Yeah, so first of all, Winterlude kickstarts today, February 2nd, and runs right through until the 19th. The good news about that is it includes the Ontario Long Weekend, the Family Day weekend. So that's the most fabulous news.
Agreed.
So weekend one, which gets started at 6 o'clock this evening, is all about highlighting Indigenous people. And that, I think, is really important for people to continue to learn about Indigenous culture. And so where we are seated today, right here in the Canadian Museum of History, on Sunday is actually going to be what we call a mini powwow.
Okay.
And this is something that we're doing in partnership with Indigenous Experiences, an amazing partner.
Agreed.
And it's going to be running from 11 to 4 p.m. And it's an opportunity for Canadians and folks that are visiting, maybe people traveling into Ottawa, to come and actually learn more about Indigenous culture. It's free, and in addition to that, there's going to be local artisans that will be selling their crafts. And Indigenous crafts, the beadwork, for instance, is just so phenomenal.
Yeah, and for those that have never been to a powwow, by the way, it is a magical experience. My wife and my family and I, we've been to a few over the last few years, and if you've never been, it really just touches your soul in a way you can't possibly imagine unless you've experienced it, right?
It's so true.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, the first time I participated, honestly, it was emotional. And that's, and spiritual, really.
Agreed.
And another interesting thing, which again, we're all in this learning of Indigenous cultures, I had no idea that a mini powwow is called mini because a regular powwow lasts days. I had no idea. So, you know, this is part of the learning of their culture, and they're going to have throat singers, dancers, drummers. This entire stage, this entire area is just going to be filled with such an amazing Indigenous experience.
Let's move on to weekend number 2.
Yes.
What's the theme for weekend number 2?
So weekend number 2 is all about showcasing Canada's diversity. And you know, our country, that is what we are. We offer so much in culture and different artists, right? So we're going to be highlighting a number of different things. First of all, did you know that 2024 is the year of the dragon?
I did.
Okay.
Only because I did my homework. Only because I did. I'm fortunate to have this position too, right? Where I get to find out what's happening not only in our community but around the world, because you want to stay on top of things when you're preparing for things like this. We're going to take a break, right? So we started with, of course, weekend number 1, weekend number 2. We'll finish off and tell you about some of the activities surrounding that theme. We'll take a break. We'll be back with Melanie in just a moment. Again, this is a special edition of Daytime Ottawa. We're celebrating the 46th edition of Winterlude, and we are live here at the Canadian Museum of History. We'll be right back after this.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Unbelievable. You just never see that. What a shot.
The OHL on Rogers TV.
After a night out with your friends, there's always options for getting home safely. You could call your BFF, your mom or dad, whoever you can count on for a safe ride home. You could call your favorite cab company or 1-888 taxi guy, or you could use the Arrive Alive smartphone app to help you choose your ride. Be it a friend, transit, or taxi, getting home safely is app easy. Now available for iOS and Android devices. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
Some of Canada's most interesting and accomplished people share their lives, careers, insights, and stories each week on Canada Files. I'm Valerie Pringle, and I'll be speaking with economist Mark Carney, actor Eugene Levy, author Louise Penny, and architect Moshe Safdie, among others. I hope you can join us.
Finish off on the activities for weekend number 2.
For sure. So weekend 2, it's really about diversity. And I was asking you if you knew that it was the year of the dragon, 2024, because we're really going to be highlighting the Lunar New Year. And we're going to be doing that with ice carvings on weekend 2. So just picture all of these fabulous dragons in ice and the specific detail that's going to be required to do that, right?
Right.
I have to tell you that the artists that do the ice carvings, they are just top notch and amazing.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
Weekend 2, we're also going to be highlighting Pride, and Pride is actually a partnership that we have with Capital Pride, and they're going to be having their first ever Pride skate on the canal.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed
Yes.
that everything works out, right? And we're going to actually have some drag queen performances on Friday and Saturday evenings of weekend 2 on Spark Street. So everybody's welcome to come out and celebrate and participate in
Yeah,
that.
it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to introduce you to a special guest a little bit later on to talk a little bit more about that. Let's move on to weekend number 3. What's the theme for weekend number 3?
Weekend 3, because it is the family long weekend, is all about families and having fun in the winter here in the National Capital Region,
Nice.
right? So there's so much that's going on. It's also Flag Day on February 15th.
Right.
But we're going to actually create a huge Canada flag, and it's going to be available made out of ice on Spark Street as well. So we're inviting folks to come out and take selfies. There's also going to be lots of prizes. There's games and prizes that will be given out to everybody that comes out to participate.
You mentioned Spark Street. There's another great partnership, right? Going
Yes.
down to Spark Street, you're going to have a lot of have art installations. There are going to be some, entertainment available. Tell me about what you've got planned there.
Oh my goodness, Spark Street is one of the official sites, the official site over on the Ottawa side, and we have over 24 different pieces of art, and they're interactive. So when you come out, you want to dress for the weather.
Of course,
but it's going to keep you moving. They light up at night, they move, and you really get involved. Over 24 of them. There's these doors that you can open, and you have no idea what you're going to see on the other side. Like, it's really a lot of fun.
You're getting me excited. I cannot wait for this.
Because in addition to that, there's a Busker Fest.
Yes.
Ottawa does the Ottawa Busker Fest.
Right.
We're doing the Winter Busker Fest for the first time ever. So again, getting you moving, shaking, and getting involved.
Yeah, and giving an opportunity to local artists, Canadian artists as well, right? Because, as you said, we have the Ottawa Busker Fest, but this is an opportunity to bring them back, right? To do something and entertain during the winter and have some fun. I understand you were in one of those art installations. Is that right?
I was in one of them?
Well, didn't you get the little red ball, right? With Pascal? We're going to talk to Pascal a little bit later on in the show.
I wasn't in it.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
I saw it.
Oh, you saw it.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I thought you interacted with it already.
Well, I did. I did. So I have interacted with everything that's on Spark Street because I needed to see with my own eyes,
right? Of course
right?
you did.
And that this is what makes it so easy for me to talk to you about it, Derek, and to invite everybody because it's so amazing. And I really have to say, in the evening is the best time.
Agreed.
Because everything is lit up, and we've got ambient music. There's even treats every couple of feet. If you want a beaver tail, if you want to get some maple toffee, there's lots.
Yeah, and don't forget too. I mean, Spark Street is not only do we have all these things around Winterlude, we got our wonderful restaurants and boutiques and retail, and so go down for the day and and enjoy a nice meal in some of these fabulous places. Byward Market as well, right? You've got some activities going on in the Byward Market.
There are activities right across the National Capital Region, and the Byward Market, they are actually hosting what is the oldest Winterlude activity, which is a bed race, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
And this is an amazing event because they actually are an organization that actually collects money and gives it back to charity. So it's very heartwarming. They also have horse-drawn rides that are free for families to come out and participate. And there's also some illuminated art structures in the Byward Market as well.
Is that through the stable that's located down in the Byward Market?
Right.
It's such a special place.
Right.
I know John and his wife, and they've been here for generations. And for people that aren't familiar, it's the only stables in the middle of a city in the entire country.
Right.
Right.
And it's so amazing to see, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Of course, the schedule continues throughout the week, not just weekends as well.
Correct.
People can find out all that information on the website, I imagine, Melanie?
Of course. So, if you Google Winterlude, we're the first website that comes up. We have an amazing website that you can set up your activities, whether you want to look at locations or who you're traveling with. Are you coming with little kids? Are you going with adults?
Nice.
Lots of activities. We talked about a few of them, but Lansdowne has, at Aberdeen Pavilion, there's stuff happening there. The Governor General is actually having a Winter Fest tomorrow on Saturday, and she's inviting people to come out as well. Stuff happening right across the city.
Wonderful. Melanie, thank you so much for this. Really appreciate it. And thanks to you and your entire team. As you said, Winterlude ends, they start making sure everything's prepared for the next time around. We've got lots more coming up. Again, we're live here at the Canadian Museum of History. We'll be back with more here on Daytime on this special edition. Don't go anywhere. the other thing was, oh, here. Okay. Hey, welcome back to the special edition of Daytime. We are live, as I mentioned, at the Canadian Museum of History. Of course, lots going on at Winterlude, including at Jacques Cartier Park. And Jacques Cartier Park is really one of the things that attracts everybody. Everyone wants to go every year. Families go. People come from out of town. And here to tell us more about it, I'm joined by Martin Routier. He's the programming coordinator over at Jacques Cartier Park. Welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
There's a lot of work that goes on to this is probably the most work, I would imagine, that goes on an outdoor facility, an outdoor location when it comes to Winterlude. Tell me, what goes into that exactly, Martin?
Well, it's a cheerful spirit.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you
Good.
need.
I felt that from you right away.
That one we control. And then we need some cold weather.
Yes.
And that one, you know, we have to be resilient.
Yes.
And we make something good, you know, regardless what Mother Nature decides. But yeah, there's a lot of crews, a lot of people dedicated, engaged. We want to get this ready, you know.
Yeah, and what goes into building it? Like, what can people find there that you've spent all this time and energy creating for them?
One of the main attraction is the Tim Horton Chinook Super Slide.
Yeah.
Sorry, long acronym.
That's okay. Yeah.
It's 9 corridors
Okay.
of pure tubes going down the hill, and this is, I'd say, the biggest attraction we have. But we do a lot with that action mountain is something that we use also. We carve a lot around. So we have these snow carvers that come out. One of the family that's very reputed internationally, Les Beauregards, is the family that come and we do a wall that's about 9 meters high by about 100 feet long.
Wow.
Which takes, I'd say, there's 6 carvers that would do that, and they do it over 5 days. So they're up there doing it.
They're probably working right now as we speak.
Well, they actually finished.
Have they finished
Oh
already?
yes,
Okay.
all the carving is done.
So is there a theme that they go by every year?
Well, this
or
year
they
we
come up
decided
with
to
their
go
own?
with the Royal Air Force. They're
Okay. Oh
celebrating
yeah, their 100th year anniversary.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there was also the 25th of Nunavut. That's also celebrating. So we use those, let's say, teams, and you give this to the carvers, and they create some fantastic. You know, it's quite magical to see them work and to see the end results.
Yeah, agreed. Just tell everybody the experience too. I mentioned, you know, families go down, you know, school kids are there. Unfortunately, today we're not open at Jacques Cartier Park, but it looks very promising for the rest of the weekend. But just tell everybody, what is that atmosphere like? I mean, you must take so much pride, you and your team, when you see all of these young families and, you know, seniors coming and enjoying everything that
it's
you
a
have
long
to offer.
tradition, and, you know, we want to try to keep up with the expectations.
Right.
And coming in right away, there's live entertainment. So when people are coming in first, there's a lot of special decorations that are set up. We have a team that just does make sure that everything looks like you're outside this world.
Yeah.
You know, lighting at night. But you're coming in during the day and you already see a stage where you have performers. So right away, people are in the huddle. They're just coming in a few feet and they're already, you know, oh, there's something here we want to see. And then as you go around the site, there's always offers that will cater to pretty much all age groups.
Right. You mentioned entertainment, so what sort of performances can we expect at Jacques Cartier Park?
Well, we have 2 stages right now. One stage is actually, we have like buskers that just are good and it's more like a circus sort of approach, where everybody's always quite amazed to see what they can do with, you know, pretty much everything you can juggle.
Very interactive too, oftentimes,
you know, and
right?
It's with the theme. So instead of having, you know, they'll use shovels to shovel. Like, I mean, to just go
to
around.
juggle.
Juggle, exactly.
No chainsaws or anything.
There is chainsaws.
Is there really?
Yes,
okay.
there is. I just don't want to scare people away.
Yeah, of course.
But
they're
no,
all professionals, everybody at home.
Professionals, absolutely. And also there's another stage where this more, I'd say, live but acoustic. You know, traditional music. And we have from indigenous, diverse storytelling. We pretty much trying to go around and make sure there's a space for pretty much everyone to perform. And people get excited and they start dancing right there in winter suits. And that's what we want. Just want to make sure that people can actually go around, get a good time, great experience.
Stay warm. cutting a rug, doing a little bit of dancing.
I mean, there's not a place you can go in this park where there's not something going on.
Right.
I mean, we have a maze that's actually there, very popular. A maze, just people will go in there and they have a good time because it's rare. It's not in snow. We try something different this year.
Okay.
It's more stable. I can guarantee you the maze, we will stay up and running for sure.
Excellent, excellent.
There's lots more.
You're kicking it old school with a little breakdancing happening there too,
There
right?
is. I mean, we're doing something that we want to bring more people in the evening. The evening over at Jean Carpentier, Snowflake Kingdom, there's lighting. It's special.
Yeah.
We see all the carving in a different perspective.
Right.
And the slide. There's less lineups in the evening. So I do encourage people to come out in the evening if they want to have a good, come out for a good castor, as we say. There's lots to do, and there is a special evening. We're trying to just bring something different, and we're going to have a breakdance theme, so a battle, as they
a little
it.
breakdance battle.
And we're lucky. We're actually going to bring the #1 ranked performer in the world.
Really?
Yeah. His name is Phil Kim. He's from Vancouver. He's got his ticket for Paris 2024. He'll be with us, and he'll do a demo, and he'll be part of the judges.
Oh,
so
I cannot
it's going
wait
to be
for
a
that.
fun evening.
We were going to get Melanie to do some breakdancing with she's out there trying some of her stuff. She has the K-Way jacket, right? That it's perfect. She could have been sliding around here. Martin, as I said, it's really one of the biggest attractions when it comes to Winterlude. Where do people find out? Should they keep an eye on the website to find out when it's open and closed, that sort of thing, depending on weather?
I would say that we're quite diligent on making sure the information is up to date. If there's a change, we make sure it goes on the website. The website's pretty reliable, so if there's any change because of weather, if something that's not going to be activated within the actual main park, we will update the website.
Nice.
Definitely.
Something else we should mention too. You mentioned the lighting at night, and the carving and everything for people. Listen, most people are on social media now, so if you're looking for that special selfie that you want to throw on Instagram, do a TikTok video, I'm sure there's some great spots at Snowflake
the carvers,
Kingdom.
That's where we actually use that mountain to do little areas where people can sit, and it's well decorated, and those are always popular. There's lineups. People love these things, and
Nice.
it's part of the decor.
Yeah.
And it makes the environment quite fantastic, and as I said, out of this world. Not something that we see often. So when you have this magical team that comes in and they do everything they can do with any piece of nice snow that we have all around, we'll do something with that. We'll bring some ice as well,
Yeah, and as I said to Melanie Martin, big thanks to you and your entire team. I know you work tirelessly to make sure that it's a really magical place for us, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, appreciate the time. Again, visit the website, canada.ca/Winterlude, find out the entire schedule. Check the weather as well to make sure that things are open and closed. That includes the Skateway. We've got lots more coming up. We'll be right back after this, live from the Canadian Museum of History.
Hi everyone, my name is Karen Massicott and I'm the Volunteer Center Manager at the Canadian Heritage Volunteer Center, responsible for Winterlude. So we have many volunteers who contribute to the success of Winterlude, and it's super important. Events like Winterlude rely on volunteers, and if we look at stats, pre-pandemic we had over 800 volunteers who contributed over 10,500 hours. And then post-pandemic, well, we went down just a little bit, but our volunteer databases are starting to buff up a little bit. We're up to 550 at 7,500 hours. What's very interesting with Winterlude is that 59% of our volunteers come back year after year, and we actually celebrated last year a 35-year anniversary. Which was amazing. 18% of our volunteers are born outside of Canada, and for Jacques Cartier Park, 70% of our volunteers are under the age of 17. What can you do during Winterlude? You can act as an information officer, you can help with the different activities that take place, or you can also be an ice hog, like Mama Ice Hog right here. So wearing the costume, giving hugs, blowing kisses to members of the public. What do volunteers get out of volunteering with us? A great Canadian experience, volunteering outdoors with the members of the public. Our volunteers actually become ambassadors, and they're really the public eye. The first things the first people that normally the public sees when they arrive on site, and they're just amazing, great ambassadors for us. For the Volunteer Center, the Volunteer Center, like we know today, came to between 1991 and 1992. If I talk about Winterlude, in 1979, there were 200 volunteers who participated. But for our Volunteer Center today, we have over 1,000 volunteers who contribute over 11,000 hours, which is pretty amazing. 45% of our volunteers at the Canadian Heritage Volunteer Center are under the age of 17 years old, and 25% of them are born outside of Canada and come from 53 different countries, which is pretty amazing. It's volunteering is actually a great way to get in tune with Canadian values. And within those volunteers who are born outside of Canada, 35% of them have been in Canada for less than 5 years. So we really have a good amount of new Canadians who actually participate in our events. So our Volunteer Center is responsible for recruiting volunteers for Winterlude, for Canada Day as well, and we also have little events as well. But if you're hoping to volunteer, we do invite you to visit our website to register. And you can also call us at the Volunteer Center and we'll tell you how to participate. Come and join us at Jacques-Cartier Park or on Spark Street or any other events that we have during Winterlude. And come give Mama Ice Hug a big hug. See you then.
Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa, this special Winterlude edition live at the Canadian Museum of History. I was talking to Melanie about all the wonderful partnerships that happen at Pride, of course, here at the museum. The Museum of Science Technology is another partner, and Capital Pride is another fantastic partner. And I am joined by, well, Mr. Capital Pride, Omari. Welcome, Omari. Great to have you. Congratulations on the title, by the way, Mr. Capital Pride.
Yeah,
Tell me how this title all came to be.
Yeah, so I competed in the pageant last year. It was in August. And yeah, I was just inspired. I was doing drag already for about almost 4.5 years at that time.
Okay.
So I was like, let's enter into this pageant. I feel like I knew a lot of people that were already doing it. And it was a lot of fun. Stressful. I did it the year before and got runner-up. So.
Oh, nice. Look at you.
Yeah, so I was like, that was the next. I needed to level it up.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You got the gold and silver though, right? The gold around the neck.
Well, yeah, I was like, I had to embody the
love it.
The winning spirit.
So
yeah.
what inspired you to get into drag in the first place?
Yeah, well, I didn't really know much about, drag kings specifically. I was in Toronto. I wasn't really in the scene there. When I moved to Ottawa, a friend basically came up to me and was like, hey, like we were dancing. I was like, hey, you've got like this vibe. And then they're like, hey, have you thought? And they were also a drag, or they are a drag king, Malzinia.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I didn't know about drag kings. So I looked it up. And I was like, oh, I like this. Because it's like you can like dress up, you get to dance. And I do enjoy dancing. So a lot of my drag involves me kind of dancing around the stage.
Nice, nice. Yeah. Did you compete against Miles, who introduced you to?
No, that would be
because I was like awkward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The one that introduced you, and then all of a sudden, sorry, Miles, I'm Mr. Capital Pride, not you.
I'm
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, tell me more about your performance. You say you dance, you like to move a lot. What else? What can people expect from a live performance from Omari?
Yeah, so it's definitely. I do enjoy dancing. My style tends to be kind of, as you could probably tell, more like maybe 90s, early 2000s kind of R&B style. So those are the songs that I tend to perform to.
Okay.
That's kind of like my niche. But
nice.
Yeah.
What song did you use for your gold medal winning performance?
Yeah. Oh, actually, that's a really good question. No, I have to think
put you
back.
on the spot. I'm sorry.
There was so many songs.
How do you prepare? Let's talk about that instead. So obviously you want to bring something different each and every time you perform, especially when you're competing for something. What's the preparation like for you? I imagine it's a lot of mental preparation more than anything.
Yeah, it's trying to figure out what song, depending on the show, getting the right outfit, trying to figure out how am I going to get the song with the outfit. Okay. Practice kind of going through the song a few times to kind of get the moves, because I tend to want to be more hitting moves when I'm like dancing, so I kind of like accentuate when I'm dancing, so yeah. Well,
people can come and watch you perform right down on Spark Street. What can people expect when they come see you and other performers down on Spark Street?
Yeah, so the Royal Court, all of us that won for last year, so that was Devonico and Abiscus. Okay. So the three of us are going to be performing Friday night on Sparks. So, I've got some Sean songs, because there's some Canadian talent. There's Sean Desmond, and I've got a Shawn Mendes song.
Awesome.
So yeah, and then I know also we have to celebrate Black History Month on the Saturday. There's going to be some performances with some local queens as well.
Wonderful. Sounds great. Tell me about the importance of Capital Pride's involvement in Winterlude and what that means to you and the community.
It's really great, again, from someone who didn't really know much before I moved here about kind of Winter Pride's involvement in Winterlude. I think it's really important. I've been involved in some of the shows last year. I was on Spark Street last year. So it's really nice. It's nice to kind of be out, even though we're out in the cold, but it's very Canadian to do that.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It's nice, and we get to perform in front of a bunch of other people, and it's more exposure as well to for the queer community and for drag.
Yeah,
as well.
for sure. Ottawa Ice Parade, right, is something else that happens. Again, we're keeping an eye on that weather, but regardless, there's still going to be celebrations around. Those celebrations, how would you describe them? What do they look like?
In terms of, I think, there's going to be a lot of drag. There's going to be, it'll just be a fun kind of experience on, I haven't been able to, I'm hoping if it is open, I'll be able to go this time, because I didn't get to go obviously last year. So, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of, there's so many things that are going on, and so many things for people to get involved with. Mm-hmm. Your involvement in Winterlude, is that something that you take a lot of pride in, like personally, that you get to do something kind of special, right? Because this is really celebrating winter in the nation's capital, right?
It's so true. Yeah, it's really nice to be a part of Winterlude activities. I know Spark Street has so many different activities, ice sculptures. I love being able to see that as well. So, and the different performers that you see, or the different vendors that are out during the festivities. So it's great to see that here. And yeah, you're right, nation's capital. So it's just great being here in general.
Yeah, it's pretty special. Having you here join us as well, Omari. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the time today. Mr. Capital Pride, right here, Omari. Make sure you check out all those things that are happening on Spark Street. Omari said it well. It's not just drag shows and Capital Pride going on down there. Again, there's all those fantastic restaurants and retail, so go and support some of those local businesses as well while you're down there. We've got lots more coming up. We're going to be talking to a fabulous artist coming up in just a little bit, but we're going to go over to the Science and Technology Museum, which is another partner with Winterlude this year. We'll head over to Valerie and Claudine to talk about some of the upcoming activities over there. Over to you.
Hello, I'm Valerie Lefebvre, Acting Director of Visitor Experience at the Canada Science and Technology Museum. We're really excited to welcome visitors for Cool Science Saturday on February 17th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in partnership with Winterlude. We have been doing this event with Winterlude for over 10 years, and we are really excited to have more partners than previous years before coming to our site. Cool Science Saturday is an opportunity to celebrate and to give visitors the opportunity to experience all different kinds of science experiments and learn about fields related to science, technology, engineering, and math, and the kind of work and research that's happening in the National Capital Region. Cool Science Saturday only happens one time a year, and it's a really exciting opportunity to see all different work and research that's happening in the nation's capital and get to talk to people who are working in different fields related to science, technology, engineering, and math that you wouldn't normally get to find out on a regular trip to our museum. It's a really exciting day. There's lots and lots of people who come, and there's activities taking place in all different parts of our museum. And so in addition to the exhibits that are already here, we will have our people set up in our classrooms. They're really in our event hall, and they're really taking over the whole place to bring you this exciting opportunity. Some of the partners will be welcoming to the site for the day will be the Canada Space Agency, who will be showing some breathtaking views of VR taken by astronauts themselves. We will have the Canada Food Inspection Agency. We will also have our friends from the Canada Agriculture and Food Museum making birdseed feeders with our visitors. We will also have the Faculty of Earth Sciences from Carleton University, who will be doing experiments all about earthquakes. And the Faculty of Science from the University of Ottawa will be doing some exciting demonstrations. So we're going to be providing, a range of activities. It's a really energetic day with people all over the museum, and these activities are going to be for all age ranges. So if you have little kids, we'll have activities that they can do, and if you're an adult who just wants to learn more about different careers in science or things that are happening in different fields, you'll also have opportunities to learn as well and to ask questions to real experts. You'll be able to buy your tickets online in advance on our website, or you can buy your tickets at the door the day of the event. I'm now going to pass you over to my colleague Claudine, who's going to show you one of the demonstrations and activities that will be available for Cool Science Saturday.
Thank you, Valérie. My name is Claudine, and I'm a guide at the Canada Science and Technology Museum. I'm super excited to be part of Gen Action, which is a nationwide initiative that brings together 30 museums across Canada. Gen Action aims to inspire, engage, motivate at least 200,000 youth into making better choices to reduce our harmful emissions, and all of that by 2024. One of the ways we try to help at the museum here is by showing off our energy bike, which is a way to make sustainable energy. We're creating electricity with our own two legs by pedaling, which kickstarts the generator in the front wheel. That movement creates or generates electricity that will go through the wire and turn on all of the LED lights. The more you pedal, the more you make the electricity, and the more the LED lights will turn on. Do you think I can get up to 200 watts? Let's see. Join us at the Canada Science and Technology Museum on Cool Science Saturday. We'll have the energy bike out. You get to try it. How much electricity do you guys think I can make? Let's go. Woo! See you there.
Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa, this special edition, our Winterlude edition, live here at the Canadian Museum of History. And we've talked about so many fabulous artists that are a part of Winterlude down there on Spark Street and other areas throughout the Ottawa Gatineau region. My next guest is one of those amazing artists. He's got a long history. He works in so many different mediums. I'm so excited to introduce you to Pascal Desmonsons. He is one of those Spark Street artists, and welcome. Great to have you here, Pascal.
Thank you, Derek.
We've had a chance to already catch up, but I wanted you to introduce yourself to viewers who may not be familiar with you. Tell us a little bit about your history as an artist, Pascal.
I'm in Canada about for more than 40 years, and I study art in the Beaux-Arts in Paris.
Okay.
Yeah, and when I was at school, like at Beaux-Arts, it's open to any kind of techniques and stuff like that. So I think instead of following only one techniques, I think I run all over the school. so that's why now I'm known as a multidisciplinary artist.
Right. Yeah, and I said, you work in, some of those traditional techniques, but you also work in what some people may call experimental techniques. Tell me about some of those experimental techniques that you work with.
You see, in my development, I decide to not using what you can buy in the store, in the art store, and you buy your paint, you get the right painting and everything. I was more attended to go to the big store, like a hardware store.
Okay.
For me, it's the museum. It's my museum, you know. I just go there and I decide, okay, I'm going to work with this. I'm doing some painting with caulking. You know caulking?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
The paste, and I mix caulking with natural pigment. So I start to do things like this, mix wax with it, and drawing, painting over drawings. And doing 3D because my first vocation is in as a sculptor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sculpture, painting, various materials as well. What do you have down on Spark Street? Tell us about your art installation down there.
On Spark Street, I've been commanded about 4 years ago to do art piece for 150 anniversary.
Right.
Okay, when they asked me to do this, I said, 150 anniversary, I'm going to do a big one and 5 and 0. No, I'm not the kind. I'm not like this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I prefer to do something different. And I said it was in winter, so I said, we're going to do a big storm. I'm going to do a big storm, like with balls. So 150, or let's say 149 balls.
Okay.
Big balls, and one red because it would be boring, you know. So people were looking at the on my name and everything, and they don't understand why 149 white balls and one red.
Yeah.
If you count, that makes 150, and I have to explain that sometimes.
Yeah.
That was my main.
So I mean, so is it just something that you view? Is it interactive? Tell me a little bit more.
Yes, it's a lot of. I'm thinking to create a piece like this because I have to think or design a frame. It's a steel frame, okay, and with a mechanism. It's they said that it was made electronically made, but no, I'm not encore.
You're not.
I'm too young for this.
You and me both.
Yeah, exactly. No. I just use. Mechanism that I can find in the market.
Okay.
So to do this, to blow all these balls and chips and everything, I need to have a blower. So I get 2 blowers, one inside and one outside.
Okay.
Then all the LED lighting and everything, it's not programmed, but I just put my installation in it, and it's covered. Because if there is no walls, everything will.
I'll just tell you to be careful with your mic. Listen, I talk with my hands too.
I'm going to check just with one hand. Okay.
I understand.
Yeah, and and the outside is made out of polycarbonate.
Okay.
Polycarbonate. It's a sort of plexiglass with double thickness, and what is interesting in that is that during the night, like when the nights come. It gives for the lighting system. It gives brightness. Like instead of having only one little light in LED, it gives you 15, 20. So
amazing. Is this the largest art piece that you've ever done?
No. I've got some bigger pieces.
Oh well, tell me about those. What's the largest piece that you've done?
I've done for the city of Rockland. It's a wall. There is a 12 die cut in steel. It's called walking person.
Okay.
Walkers. So they are cut on the wall. It's almost 50 feet long.
Wow.
With projection on it and everything. No, I've got pieces, quite nice pieces outside.
Yeah, and I mean, many of your pieces are both in public and private collections. You must take a great deal of pride, though, to be asked to help celebrate the 150th, to help come to Ottawa yet again and celebrate Winterlude. What does that mean to you as an artist?
It's like, you receive a phone call from the Winterlude, and they said, Monsieur de Monsant, would you like to exhibit one of your pieces that we saw somewhere? It's something that gets you because you're working alone in your studio, and you don't see too many people.
Right.
Okay, and suddenly somebody is interested in your art. So it's always a good pride, and I'm not the only one. I think it's the same thing for all the artists showing their pieces during Winterlude.
Yeah.
And I appreciate to being invited by Patrimoine Canada.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Do you have some other pieces within the Ottawa-Gatineau region as well?
Not really.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I live around here. I'm only 60 kilometers, but I've got more peace outside than in the city.
Yeah, because you've got, I imagine, pieces, around the globe as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
in
you're an
Europe,
international
yes,
artist as well.
I'm from Europe originally, so
yeah.
I was more known in Europe. That's why I moved. No, that's not right.
Well, Pascal, congratulations on all your success. Obviously, people take a lot of, they take your art as something that's quite magical. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a big part of Winterlude, and I cannot wait to go down there and see that installation. Again, that's down on Spark Street. You can catch Pascal's art installation and some other artists, and don't forget there's some live performers that are going to be down there as well. Pascal, thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more right after this. Don't go anywhere. Exactly leave you without speaking to somebody or some people from the Canadian Museum of History. I'm joined by two spokespersons from the museum, Kate McCade and Marie-Claude Vachon. Welcome to you both. Great to have you here. Let's just start about this partnership, Kate. Tell me about what it means to you, to the museum itself, to be a part of this Winterlude celebration, Kate.
Oh, it's fantastic. Winterlude every year is a great celebration in Ottawa. It brings a lot of people together, and it's also a great opportunity for museums to perhaps welcome new audiences into the museums and to show off all of the great content and programs that we have.
Marie-Claude, I imagine some of the exhibitions that you have here at the museum relate to Winterlude. Tell me about some of those exhibitions.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to talk to you about Iceberg, which is an art piece that is outside. It's an immersive experience to bring you to think about climate change in a different way. So you can find it just outside in between the two buildings, between the museum and the curatorial building. It's a free activity, actually, and you can enjoy it from 8 in the morning to very close to midnight.
Nice.
You can walk straight from the bike path or from Laurier Street. So Iceberg, you will walk through the structure, and as you walk through the structure, it'll light up and it'll also create sound. And it's meant to, like I said, have you think about climate change, because your presence will activate the structure, just like your presence will impact on the environment and on climate change. So that's the idea. But that's not the only thing that we have going on, of course. So that is what we have outside. I invite you to also take an architectural tour and keep on exploring outside the museum from that angle, because you've might have been inside before, but you may not have thought about why is it built like that, and why are the windows so big, and what does it mean? So on the website, on the museum's website, under the iceberg activity, you can either access some guided tours, right? Guided tours through a QR code. You can download it into a PDF, and then you can do that, as a family on a nice day before you come back inside and warm up and maybe catch one of our permanent exhibition, maybe the Children's Museum or the new film that's playing at Ciné Plus.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the architecture and for people to take that in, because it really is one of the most magnificent pieces of architecture in the Ottawa-Gatineau region.
I agree.
Every time I drive up to it, it's like my imagination just goes wild before I even come into the museum. She just mentioned, Kate, some of the other things that are happening within the museum. The Children's Museum, I mean, families, this is a must-see, right?
Absolutely. The Children's Museum is always really popular. It's very busy on the weekends, so make sure that you come in early. But we also have a great program for Black History Month coming up.
Tell us about that, Jen.
So February 8th, which is next Thursday, from 6 to 8 p.m., we have a free program, and it's a film screening, panel discussion, and reception in the theater. And what we're screening is episode 8 of the fantastic documentary series Black Life Untold Stories. Right. It was an 8-part documentary series that launched this past fall on CBC, and we are screening episode 8, Claiming Space, which talks about Black communities all across Canada, sort of the history, their daily life, the vibrancy of the community, but also the flip side, the segregation and dislocation of a lot of these communities, people in these communities. And the panel discussion will bring together experts from all across the country on the communities that were addressed in the documentary. So we'll come together in a really engaging discussion, followed by a reception in the lobby with a cash bar and hors d'oeuvres. So it'd be a really nice evening to talk about this really important history.
Agreed. And I imagine you should get tickets registered beforehand. Is that right?
Yes, register beforehand. If you go to our website, there's a link to the tickets. Again, it's free, but you'll want to claim your spot ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What other things that are happening? Indigenous experiences. Of course, you just look down this beautiful hallway here, Kate, and that. Sorry, Marie-Claude, and that kind of tells you about the fact that they wanted to bring, Winterlude wanted to bring different cultures within, and Indigenous experience is a really big part of this museum, right?
Of course it is. Katie can answer more to that question, though.
Go ahead, Katie.
The Indigenous experiences? So we, in terms of, so I believe Winterlude has several themes that they do each year, and Black history is one, Pride is one, and Indigenous history is one. So we have activity sheets that are available. So of course we encourage you to come to the Black history program, but in terms of the activities related to Indigenous history, we have a lot of great self-guided pamphlets and tours that people can come check out while they're here for Winterlude.
Marie-Claude, what else do you have that happens around Winterlude?
Currently, there is a new film opening at Ciné Plus. It's about blue whales.
Okay.
And it's a very impressive film to see. As you can imagine, the screen is gigantic. It's about 25 feet wide, which is the size of a blue whale's tail.
Oh, geez.
So when I say you can see them life-size, you really can see them life-size on the Ciné Plus screen. We also have Arctic, Our Frozen Planet, who is showing. So you said earlier, what if, we want to take in some Indigenous experiences? That film certainly is a good example, and same with the 7 sacred laws, so the 7, fundamental laws of Indigenous peoples.
Right.
So you can see all of that at Ciné Plus.
And Kate, you also have your regular exhibitions that happen. So when people come here, they can obviously not only take advantage of some of the things around Winterlude, but some of the wonderful exhibitions that are ongoing here. Tell us a little bit about those.
Absolutely. So of course, the Canadian History Hall opened in 2017 for Canada's 150th. So that seems like a while ago now in a whole other world. But that is 3 galleries of Canada's history from time immemorial to the present day. So that is definitely something to check out. as well as the First People's Hall and the Grand Hall where we are right now. And there's some great exhibitions behind us related to sort of what we see here of the people of the Northwest Coast.
Right. Thanks to you both. I really appreciate you spending time with us, and thanks for allowing us to come into this beautiful space to do this show live. I mean, I couldn't think of a better backdrop, really.
We're happy to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to remind you, you can find out all the information on the website, canada.ca/Winterlude. There are things happening on Spark Street, the Byward Market. I'll go through a few of those as we wrap up the show. But don't forget, they'll also have those weather warnings as well. So you'll find out whether the Rideau Canal Skateway is going to be open and available, and Jacques Cartier Park, Snowflake Kingdom as well. We'll be back with more to wrap things up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
We invite you to play What's My Line?
Welcome, Mrs. Baker. Those folks over there need to guess your extraordinary occupation.
Are you an entertainer, Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Do people come to watch you perform?
Yes.
Do you travel for work?
Yes, I do.
Do you ever wear a special type of costume?
Yes.
Is your job, physical?
Yes, indeed.
Are you a member of a team?
Yes.
Are you a professional baseball player?
Yes, I am.
Created during the Second World War, the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League included 68 Canadians. One of its brightest stars was my mother, Saskatchewan's Mary Bonnie Baker, a pioneer for women in sports.
Learn all about the creation of the National Capital Region on The History of Ottawa, according to Phil Jenkins, on Rogers TV.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
Welcome back to this special Winterlude edition of Daytime Ottawa live at the Canadian Museum of History. I just want to say another big thanks to the Canadian Museum of History for allowing us to come into this beautiful space. It's just been a wonderful experience, and of course, big thanks to everybody at Winterlude, Melanie and Martin and Omari and Pascal, all these fabulous guests that joined us today. Really made it special, and of course the representatives, the spokesperson Kate and Maddie Claude from the Museum of History. A reminder of some of the things that are happening. Jacques Cartier Park, again, visit the website to find out if it's open. It does look very promising for this weekend, so make sure you check out the website. They've got the super slides for tubing, the breakdance battles that are going on. They've got the stages there as well, where there's going to be some fantastic live performances available, which will just draw you right into Jacques Cartier Park, so check that out. The Rideau Canal Skateway, of course, a big part of Winterlude every year, but again, make sure you check that out online to see if it's open. A stretch of the skateway is open. Down on Spark Street, you've got the ice sculptures, outdoor art performances. You've got the installations. You've got the Busker Winter Busker Festival that's going on there as well. Again, the great restaurants and of course the fabulous atmosphere alone just down on Spark Street. The Byward Market has some great programming as well. Interactive art installations at both the Byward Market and Spark Street. So many shows, and of course course, we've got all those great cross-country ski hiking trails in the Ottawa-Gatineau region. Enjoy those, and we'll see you back live on Monday. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Hey everybody, my name is Karen. I'm here with my best friends Shane and Monique. Join us on Rogers TV for Fitness Faction. Every week we're going to take you through a full body workout. We've got strength training, we've got cardio, we've got HIIT. Ladies, let's get back into it.
I think we've got 10 more skaters. Let's go.
And roasted the most perfectly golden brown marshmallow you'd ever seen. And the crowd went